Their story, The Unseen Road. They say everything happens for a reason, but when you're the one who's lost everything, standing in the ruins of your life, how can you believe that? Ethan collapsed in the middle of the forest. Rain poured from the sky like a curse, soaking his torn clothes and bloodied hands. His backpack, money and shoes, all gone, stolen by robbers hours earlier. He was cold, hungry, furious, and alone. "Damn it," he muttered, punching the muddy ground. "Why me?" Ahead of him, hidden among twisted roots and ancient trees, was a small wooden hut with smoke rising from its chimney. A faint glow flickered through the mist. Someone was there, seated before a fire, still as a statue. Ethan stumbled toward the hut with what little strength he had left. He wasn't looking for help, just shelter, a little warmth before he collapsed completely. "Please," he rasped. "I've been robbed. I lost everything. I don't know what to do." The old man by the fire slowly turned. His name was Caleb, a reclusive monk who had lived in the forest for over 20 years. They said he could see into a person's soul, and that those who had lost their way often found answers with him. Caleb didn't ask questions. He simply offered Ethan a bowl of warm water and motioned for him to sit by the fire. "There are things," Caleb said gently, "that we only find after we've lost what we thought mattered most." Ethan gave a bitter laugh. "Don't tell me it all happened for a reason. That's just something people say when they don't know what else to say." Caleb smiled, undisturbed. "I won't preach. I'll tell you a story, one I think you need to hear." Years ago, in a quiet riverside village, there lived a humble farmer named Thomas. He and his wife Anna had one son, Liam. They were poor, but each day was full of peace. Mornings with the crowing of roosters, evenings with warm rice, laughter, and the sounds of crickets like background music to their simple lives. Then one day, the river rose. The monsoon came early. Torrential rains pounded the earth. The river swelled and devoured everything in its path. Within hours, the entire village was underwater. Houses collapsed, crops vanished, animals drowned. Thomas and his family barely escaped to a hilltop. They stood together, watching their home disappear beneath the muddy water. Thomas sank to the ground, gripping his head. "We've lost everything," he whispered. "How can we start again?" His young son Liam, only 13, placed a gentle hand on his father's arm. "Maybe," he said softly, "this happened for a reason." Thomas jerked his arm away, eyes wild with rage. "A reason? What reason could justify this? This is the end!" In a burst of fury, he shouted, "Get out! Don't speak to me! Go away!" Anna tried to stop him, but it was too late. Liam turned and walked away into the rain. No tears, no anger, just silence. That night, Thomas didn't sleep. His world had fallen apart, and now the person he loved most had vanished too. The next morning, rescue teams arrived. They handed out food, blankets, medicine. People began to rebuild. Anna turned to her husband, tears in her eyes. "Liam was right," she whispered. "We weren't alone." But Thomas said nothing. All he could hear was the echo of his own voice shouting at his son. Weeks passed. The village began to recover, but Thomas couldn't. One night, he packed a bag and told Anna he was going to the city, partly to find work, partly to find Liam, mostly to forgive himself. City life was harsh. Thomas was rejected everywhere. No skills, no education, no connections. He slept under bridges, skipped meals, shared crusts of bread with strangers. One day, an old shopkeeper named Harold saw Thomas help an elderly woman who had fallen in the market. "You're not from here," Harold said. "No," Thomas replied. "You need a job?" "I need a chance," Thomas answered. So Harold gave him one, loading rice sacks, cleaning floors, delivering goods through the rain. The pay was little, the work was hard, but Thomas never complained. Every night, he wrote in a small notebook, letters he'd never send. "To Liam, wherever you are, I hope you're safe." 4 years passed. One autumn evening, there was a knock at the door of Thomas's tiny rented room. He opened it and froze. Standing there was a young man in a clean white shirt holding a suitcase. His smile was familiar, his eyes unmistakable. "Dad!" the man said, voice trembling. "It's me, Liam." Thomas broke. He pulled his son into a desperate, tearful hug. Neither spoke for a long moment. Liam told him everything. How he'd slept on benches, sold newspapers, washed dishes, studied by streetlight. How a kind stranger had taught him business. How he'd started a company. How he'd searched for years and finally found him. "I've come to take you home," Liam said. "I bought a house. You and Mom will live with me now. We'll start over. But this time, we'll build something better." Thomas sobbed in his son's arms. "You were right," he whispered. "Everything really did happen, for a reason." Ethan sat in stunned silence, the firelight dancing in his eyes. "I don't know what to say," he murmured. "But that's not me. That story's not mine. I still lost everything." Caleb reached into his robe and pulled out a small, shimmering stone. "Take this," he said. "It's a rare gem I found by the waterfall. Worth more than what you lost. I've been waiting for the right person to give it to." Ethan took the stone in his hand. He said nothing, but for the first time since he fell in that forest, something stirred in him. Something warmer than anger, stronger than pain, hope. We don't always understand why things happen when they happen. But if you have the strength to keep walking, the patience to keep waiting, and the faith to keep believing, one day the path will make sense, and you'll smile and say, "Everything happened for a reason."